Keir Starmer has just been dealt the kind of blow no Prime Minister wants to face. It's a development that not only humiliates his leadership, but threatens to shatter the very image his party has worked so hard to build. This isn't a minor stumble, it's a collapse. And what's more shocking is who's overtaken him, and what it now means for Labour's future. Brace yourself, because what comes next changes everything. But first, before we get into it, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Keir Starmer has been dealt a crushing blow. A new poll from More in Common has revealed that Labour has dropped to third place nationally. Its worst showing since the last general election. According to the data, just 21% of voters would back Starmer's Labour Party if a general election were held today. That's a dramatic fall from the nearly 34% who voted Labour at the general election. It's also a significant shift from earlier this year, when Labour was consistently leading in the polls. The poll conducted between June 13th and June 16th, with a sample size of 2,032 voters, paints a bleak picture for the Labour leader. The party now trails behind both the Conservatives, who have taken second place, and Reform UK, which is now leading. Luke Trill of More in Common noted that this 21% figure matches the party's previous low in late March, shortly after the spring statement. At that time, Labour's support briefly dipped to 21%, but it rebounded to 25% by May. However, after the local elections, the trend appears to have reversed again, this time in a more sustained decline. And now Labour has slipped even further, falling behind the Tories and leaving Reform UK in the lead. Reform has polled ahead of both main parties since late April, indicating a clear and consistent upward trend for Nigel Farage's party. Reacting to the new poll, Reform UK's deputy leader Richard Tice called it another great poll for Reform, reinforcing the party's growing confidence heading into the next election cycle. So what would this poll actually mean in terms of seats? Using electoral calculus, a well-known seat projection tool based on current polling numbers, the results are staggering. If this poll were reflected in a general election, Reform UK would narrowly secure a two-seat majority in the House of Commons. Meanwhile, Labour would suffer a dramatic collapse, dropping from 411 seats in summer 2023 to just 129. That would represent a massive loss of ground for a party that just 1 year ago was in a commanding position. According to the data, some of Labour's most high-profile figures would lose their seats. Those projected to be ousted include Rachel Reeves, Chancellor of the Exchequer, Angela Rayner, Deputy Leader, Yvette Cooper, Home Secretary, and Ed Miliband, Energy Secretary. All of them, according to the projections, would lose to Reform UK candidates in their constituencies. These results seem to reflect deeper political tensions that have been building for months. Labour's recent strategy appears increasingly focused on challenging the rise of Reform. In late May, Keir Starmer used a visit to the Glass Futures facility in St Helens to directly attack Nigel Farage and his economic plans. Starmer accused Farage of proposing to spend billions upon billions, tens of billions of pounds, in what he described as an unfunded way, comparing it to the short-lived economic approach taken by Liz Truss. But the response to that attack may not have had the intended effect. Instead of slowing Reform's momentum, it prompted an immediate rebuttal from the party. Then Chairman Zia Yusuf dismissed Starmer's criticisms and said, "What an extraordinary press conference. It's obviously panic stations at Labour. Keir Starmer is panicking because his awful government is now trailing Reform by a staggering 8 points in the latest YouGov poll." That reference to the YouGov poll aligns with wider Delta trends suggesting that Labour's lead over Reform has eroded not just in one poll, but across multiple polling institutions over recent weeks. The bottom line, Labour is now in a position few expected just months ago. With Reform UK pulling ahead and the Conservatives climbing back into second place, Keir Starmer's party has found itself squeezed on both sides and shedding support at a critical time. Unless Labour can turn things around quickly, this poll could mark the beginning of a wider collapse in voter confidence heading into the next election. In other news, smugglers operating on the French coast have changed their methods as gangs are offering discounts for people to cross the channel. Gangs have changed their tactics to launch taxi boats from more concealed sites, operating at a much quicker speed at cheaper rates for those desperate to cross to the UK. Instead of inflating and launching from dunes along the French coast, gangs are starting from better hidden locations, often dozens of kilometers from the main departure beaches. The vessels then cruise along the coastline, picking up customers who wait in waist-high waters, where French police cannot stop them. Downing Street said the situation is deteriorating as Albanian crime gangs are now offering channel crossings for just £2,000 per person, the lowest price since 2002 in a summer discount. Around 16,317 migrants have crossed the channel so far this year, more than 40% higher than at the same point last year, and the record for any year since the first channel arrivals in 2018. In a post on a Facebook group aimed at Albanians, an advertisement said, "We have a journey on a small boat, only £2,000. An Albanian immigration expert told The Telegraph, "The fall in price is due to a sharp decline in interest from Albanians using small boats. This is the cheapest offer ever, clearly aimed at attracting new clients. Last year, only 630 Albanians made the journey compared to 940 in 2023. Albanians are now avoiding small boat crossings, knowing they will be processed by the Home Office in Dover and likely sent to detention centres with the aim of deportation." Meanwhile, migrants from Africa told the BBC about the dangers of making their way to the so-called taxi boats. Luna, a Somali woman from Mogadishu, said, "I've tried to cross 12 times now. Sometimes the police are very violent. I've been hit myself. They put tear gas, something in the air, you can't breathe. Sometimes the boat is very far out to sea. That's why women and children are left behind so many times. It's so dangerous, so risky. We cannot swim. I don't want to die." Mayor of the village of Ambletu, Stefan Pinto, added, "For migrants, the UK is still seen as an El Dorado. The British need to address this issue more forcefully. This is no longer just a problem linked to dictatorship or war. It is growing due to what's happening globally. Climate change, the collapse of economies in some countries, and so on. We feel there is a new wave growing today, and unless we really tackle it, we will sadly only be spectators of what will happen in the coming years." Earlier today, Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp has hit out at Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner over Labour's failure to tackle the UK's migration crisis. Hitting out at Rayner during Prime Minister's questions, Philp, the MP for Croydon South, said, "She has the brass neck to claim she's got it under control, when the numbers crossing the channel this year are the highest in history. She asked about the Rwanda deterrent. I'll repeat, she obviously wasn't listening to what I said earlier. The Rwanda scheme never started." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.